Okay, so we want you to have the facts. So we're going to break down the misconceptions. We did some detective work. We're digging. We're finding the truth. That's what detectives do. They find the truth. That's what we want to do today. Okay, so a misconception out there is Social Security is going broke. Why isn't it true?
We get this. I actually got this comment just yesterday, and I think one of the things to consider is, back in, I think it was 1983 or 84, they did this major overhaul under that administration to make tweaks and changes to draw out the length of Social Security. But then also one thing to consider is we had a question come in not too long ago from our Journey to Retirement workshop. This gentleman let us know he was recently put on long-term disability, and Social Security disability was his only income. And his question was, do I still need to be paying FICA taxes? And he does. There's really not any exceptions to paying the FICA tax. And what that is the funding behind Social Security. So Social Security is always having money coming into that bucket. Whereas if we need to make changes like that overhaul in 83 in the 80s, then we can to make those monies last longer.
But what about those studies that we see every year, AnnaMarie, that say Social Security, the reserves are going to be down by 2032 or 2034? And the most recent one actually pushed it out a year to 2035.
Yeah, that the surplus would run out in
surplus
2035. Yep.
So people see those studies, and then right now there's a lot of talk amongst politicians about what are you going to do with Social Security, what are you not going to do with Social Security. So it gets people thinking, and it makes sense, because if you're looking at your Social Security benefit and you're saying, I paid into this all these years, I want to get the most out of it, but yet people are talking about taking it away or decreasing it, that can definitely elevate concern and anxiety. So now it's a matter, let's weed through those myths and determine what really could happen with Social Security.
Yeah, so what could happen is, if they do nothing in 2035, they'll only be able to pay about 80% of the benefits out. But most likely, what I think a lot of people would agree on is that Congress will make some changes. Either you'll have to elect later, they'll increase the FICA taxes, they'll have the wealthier pay more, again, depending on your politics and where you land on that. Probably Congress will eventually make some changes, but for the short term, Social Security is not broke.
Social Security is not broke, and I think for those of you who are within a few years of being able to take Social Security or already on Social Security, I think you're in a good place as far as continuing to receive the promised benefits. Since 1935, when Social Security legislation was enacted, there have been changes to Social Security. Going back to the early 80s, when the reserves was actually down to zero, then they had to make changes to shore up the Social Security Reserve Fund. They have consistently made changes. They will consistently continue to make changes to make sure that those benefits are continued promised, with, I think, this is my opinion, could be one exception. One of the things that they're talking about, which I think could work its way into it, is the means testing, which means that based on the level of income you have, they could decrease the amount of Social Security benefits that you would receive. Now, those income thresholds, most of the income thresholds that they've thrown out there are much higher income thresholds and probably will not impact most retirees. But I think that is probably one of the exceptions to your benefits are probably not going to be touched if you're close to taking them or already on them, because there's so many different changes they can make. They can and will make changes to the benefits that we can receive. They will and can make changes to the benefits that our kids can receive. And we have time to make adjustments to our plan. Certainly our kids, my 10-year-old daughter has time to make changes to her retirement plan. So they can shore up that fund in so many different ways that doesn't impact pre-retirees and retirees. And from a political standpoint, it's going to be much easier to pass that type of legislation as opposed to taking away your benefits or seriously decreasing your benefit.
Thank you for watching this clip of Retiring Today, and don't forget to subscribe. If you have questions about your retirement plan, take advantage of the complimentary 15-minute retirement checkup phone call.